October 3rd, 2022. The notice requirements provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given by transmission to the Asbury Park Press, the Independent, and the True River Times, and by posting at the Middletown Township Municipal Building and filing with the Township Clerk on January 7th, 2022. Committeeman Clark.
Here.
Committeewoman Kratz. Here. Committeeman Sedambrino.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Here.
Mayor Perry.
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence to honor the troops serving worldwide, defending our constitutions, freedoms, and way of life. Thank you. Our first item on tonight's agenda, we have public hearing of proposed ordinances. Our first ordinance, 2022-3354, a bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $1,517,000 for various park improvements by and for the Township of Middletown in the County of Monmouth, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $1,114,825 in bonds or notes of the township for financing part of the appropriation.
Any member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 2022-3354? No done? Good, okay. Seeing no member of the public stepping forward, move to close the public portion and approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on second and final reading. Our next ordinance, 2022-3355, a bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $3,467,000 for various capital improvements by and for the Township of Middletown in the County of Monmouth, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $3,293,650 in bonds or notes of the township for financing part of the appropriation.
Any member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 2022-3355? Seeing no member of the public stepping forward, move to close the public portion and approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on second and final reading. Our next item on tonight's agenda, we have our known action items. At this time, I'd like to ask the Township Committee to adopt a consent, which would include 2022-254 through 22-262.
Motion to approve a consent agenda.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt consent agenda. At this time, we have discussion items. We only have one tonight, the legalized games of chance approval process.
Heidi?
This would actually have to be an ordinance that we would need to propose and put on the next agenda to allow me to approve bingo and raffle applications that come in for events going on in the township. And this basically just expedites the process, avoiding having to be on the agenda.
Yeah.
to approve.
Yeah, it's a smart move for, I believe, the Township Committee to make, given that there are months where the Township Committee only has one meeting. And in order to ensure that oftentimes recreational leagues, soccer leagues, nonprofit organizations that are holding fundraisers in an effort to give them the ability to go through the state mandated process, but also get an approval from the township, in all honesty, shouldn't have to wait for a Township Committee meeting to make that, to have that authority. So this change would ultimately provide Heidi the authority, after completing the same state mandated requirements, would give her the authority to approve bingo and raffle applications. Any questions for Heidi? Okay, thank you, Heidi. Township Committee comments. Committeeman Clark. This time. Committeewoman Kratz.
I'm going to reserve mine for next meeting, Mayor.
Okay. Moving Senabrino,
Nothing this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
Ditto that. I'm gonna hold my comments for next meeting.
Okay. Before we move on to public comment, I just want to point out one thing that we approved tonight. And that was the resolution appointing our new tutoring service. Back in January, alongside, after many conversations with the Board of Education, and the, you good, Heidi? I think Hybel gave me the wrong agenda again. All right. Very quickly, I want to go back before. See, if they had just made a comment, I would have picked that up. Heidi, you want to put this resolution forward?
Sure. Yeah, let me just write it out for you.
Okay. So we are going back very quickly, thanks to Hybel, to approve a resolution awarding the tutoring services. Back in January, I had discussed and announced at the reorganization meeting that part of the American Rescue Plan funding was going to be utilized to assist our students who had suffered learning loss in schools here in Middletown and in schools all across the United States. And part of that COVID funding needed to, or should have, been focused on the demographic of individuals that I think were impacted the most, and that was our children. And I'm very excited that we have Jen here tonight, who, after a lot of conversations, a lot of interviews, who owns a business here in Middletown, right in Lincroft, Bright Connections, right? Perfect. I kept confusing it. I always wanted to say like Bright Horizons or something like that, but Bright Connections. But we sat down with quite a few of the local tutoring centers and ensured that we were finding the right fit for Middletown, finding the right fit for the students who had been working diligently, no doubt, through the virtual learning platform, but it is also undeniable and indisputable that there was something lost amongst many of our students. So I am going to make a motion tonight that as a part of our American Rescue Plan funding that we had put forth earlier in the year, we are set to propose a resolution awarding in a non-fair and open contract to Brighton Connections for tutoring services in 2022. Motion.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. This really is something that I think will benefit a lot of the kids in our schools. And for anyone that says that there was no learning loss amongst our children is, I think, out of touch throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. And I think dedicating this funding and demonstrating that not only is government able to partner with a private business, a local business, but able to do it in a manner that will deliver without the added cost to the township is something that we can all be very proud of. So Jen, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for all the time. I know that the gang spent grilling you and having you fill out all this paperwork and everything. But, you know, we went to several different tutoring organizations, and I know from the get-go, you, Jen, you and your business and your company was the right fit and really the unanimous decision amongst all the people. You know, Jim was a part of that process, Tara was a part of that process, Mercantante, all really there to understand you and how you were going to be able to impact our students. So I want to thank you. And if you'd like, I invite you to come up, and if you want to introduce yourself, obviously this is being videotaped. So there's, I know 400 students that signed up for the potential to benefit from your tutoring services. So happy to have you come up and just introduce yourself to the public. Joe?
Take it off if you want, or you can just like that.
I'll stand. Good evening, everyone. And first of all, I would like to thank you very much for selecting myself and my company. I am so excited to run this program. It has been an absolute pleasure to work with Tony and Tara and Jim. I am, sorry, a little nervous. I actually, besides having the business in Middletown, I was born and raised in Middletown. I went through the Middletown Township Public Schools, and I feel like I have that connection here. Middletown, no matter where I am, will always be home to me. So a little bit about the program, actually about Bright Connections, I'll say. Before I opened, I was a teacher for 7 years in public and private school, which I think is also helpful because a lot of our students will come from both. So I'm familiar with both curriculums. After teaching for 7 years, I stopped and I opened my own business right here in Lincroft. We are going into our 5th year, and we work with students from K through 8. Starting tomorrow, the mayor's office will be contacting parents that have already submitted the survey and are interested in the services. I also will follow up with the parents. They will be able to sign up for assessments. And so in October, November, and the middle of December, I will have days on Saturdays, Sundays, Mondays, and Fridays, so where the students can come in and get assessed. I'm going to go through their reading levels and their math levels, and that's how we're going to determine which small groups we should get these students into. Not only by grade level, but I also feel like where they're at for their age. After the assessments are completed, I will call parents and let them know that if they qualify, we are really focusing on the students that had the biggest loss of learning in the times. It's important to grab those students, have them in and connect them and try to get them where they need to be. Throughout the program, it's going to be a 6-week program, and we're going to meet for an hour and a half each week. We're going to go 45 minutes for reading, 45 minutes for math. At the end, I will always give an exit slip to the parents, like this is what we worked on, this is what could help at home, and kind of go from there because I want to build that homeschool connection, which I think is detrimental to get the students to where they need to be. After the program is complete, they have an opportunity to continue to work with Bright Connections. And I know sometimes finance is in there. I don't want to leave the students high and dry. You go into education because you truly love the students. So I will give parents, like, these are the tips that you could do at home. This is what you could work on. So that really sums up the program. I'm super excited to run out and get this program and help the students as best as I can, especially in my hometown. And I, again, want to thank you for your time, selecting me, selecting my business. You have no idea how much it means to me, and I'm thrilled. Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. And I just want to say, it really meant a lot when I got the phone call and you called the businesses, because I know I told Tony and Tara and Jim about, COVID, yes, affected a lot of people, including I'm a small business. And it meant so much to get that phone call and to be like, hey, let's talk, let's go through it, let's discuss, let's start it meant a lot for you to reach out to the community itself. And I might be a little biased. I do really love Middletown Township, but you have no idea how much that meant for you to pick somebody who's in your community, who has your business here. So thank you for that as well. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Don Watson, living at 1 Collinson Drive. I just wanted to follow up from the last meeting, if Ted had had a chance to go out and look at Main Street.
I did take a look at it. We're going to probably put that on our next program for miscellaneous paving, different locations.
Great, thank you very much. That's all I got.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino. Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adjourn.
Have a great night, everybody. Thank you all.